Alright, the new Mortal Kombat, the game, the movie, the game, whatever. Alright, let's fire this thing up. This is gonna be sweet.
Player 1, start.
Alright, start.
Choose your fighter.
Alright, I'm Johnny Cage.
You can only be Cole.
Cole? Who the fuck is Cole?
Get ready.
Alright, just throw me into it. I guess gotta unlock those characters, okay.
Fight a guy in a cage.
Wait,
Tap out.
What? Tap out?
Your daughter is upset.
Huh?
Go to dinner. Oh no. Snow.
Okay, sir, it's like, honestly, like...
Oh, you are the chosen one.
Okay, can I practice some combos?
Traveling to Outworld.
Okay, well, now we're getting into it. Yeah, here we go. Going to Outworld. Where the...
Argue with an Australian man for an hour.
What?
Shang Tsung. Barrier. Can't get through.
Okay, I didn't do anything to stop any of this stuff. What's going on?
Wait a minute. Shang Tsung and his minions have entered the barrier. Here we go. Get ready.
All right. I gotta go. I gotta go pick my kids up. All right, I better save this so I don't have to go through all of that. And then when I get back, I can actually just jump right into the game, right where the tournament starts. What do you mean 95% complete? I just...
What were they thinking?
You know when I pick a movie, that's when I'm under pressure now. The question always comes back to me, what were they thinking now? Whoa, what were they thinking? What were they thinking?
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to What Were They Thinking, a podcast about bad to questionable movies. And this week we got a doozy, our worst of the 2021. There's no code to give us a good one on this one. Mortal Kombat 2021, and I'm not going to be talking about this alone. I usually have my co-host here with me, so ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome the Goro to my Shang Tsung, Brendan.
How are you, Nathan?
No. Yeah, look.
What?
You'll get our videos muted on Facebook.
Oh, yes, we're back. It is January. We're here to start the new year with a bang, question mark?
Maybe I don't know, like a flying bicycle kick or
spam.
or a harpoon from the hand.
Yeah,
Get
like a leg
here.
sweep spam or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so you've used Johnny Cage before then?
Isn't that supposed to be Liu Kang that does that? He does it in the movie.
The leg sweep?
Yeah, the thing that he does in the movie. We'll talk about it when we get to it.
Okay, all right.
I know he does the bicycle kick, but I'm pretty sure there's a moment where he keeps doing a leg sweep, and that's supposed to be like a reference of some sort. Yeah, this is Mortal Kombat 2021.
Yeah.
It's a movie that came out last year.
Yep.
In the heart of the pandemic.
Well, I mean, I feel that all of last year was just one giant February as far as the movie studios go.
Yeah.
Just dump all the garbage, boys.
I mean, this was one of those movies, too, that just went straight on to HBO Max for, like, the longest time.
That was it. Like, it was done when they were trying out that model. You know, the HBO Max stuff or the Disney Plus Premium Access and all that sort of stuff. Because obviously, the way things are these days, it's definitely changed the way we take in movies. And hopefully we'll be back to more normal. But till then, we're going to have to deal with stuff like this going straight to technically being video on demand. And there's not enough 5 Thursday months in the year. So I think we should rectify that rule. If it went to HBO Max, Disney Plus, or another top tier streaming as a home premiere access event, it counts as theatrical.
Boom. There it is. It's canon now.
See, and that's how you change things, amend them, if you will.
Yeah,
that's just that easy.
That's how you update things for a modern world. Take note, please, Mortal Kombat movie from 2021. With a budget of $55 million and a box office of 83.6, which was probably hurt by the fact that it was on HBO Max.
Yes, but it also wasn't helped by the fact that the tournament never really gets going. But we'll get to that when we get that. I'll give you guys the quick Cole's notes of the or the Cole Younger notes, if you will.
God.
Of the plot here. So we start out in feudal Japan. There is a Chinese assassin coming to assassinate what appears to be a Japanese farmer who was retired from a life of fighting. And of course, this whole thing is to set up a great prophecy about a champion who will deliver Earth Realm from the clutches of defeat in the 10th tournament of Mortal Kombat. If you don't know Mortal Kombat, all the words I'm saying make no sense to you whatsoever. And if you do know Mortal Kombat, there's still a chance that this stuff is still a little shaky, but I digress. We flash forward to the future where we meet our protagonist. He's a struggling fighter trying to get by. Lo and behold, he is part of this prophecy. He is recruited by Jax and Sonya Blade, and he meets Kano, and he ends up helping fight with Liu Kang and Kung Lao and all the other names that they drop for fan service in this movie, because there's going to be a great tournament where people will go through a tournament structure and see it. No, that doesn't. This isn't the good Mortal Kombat, and I never ever thought I'd have to say that about the 1990s Mortal Kombat being a good one, but yeah. Hilarity ensues.
And it's funny, Nathan, that you know all these characters popping up by name, because they certainly don't say their own name a million times. Or do their video game pose immediately, a la the end of Street Fighter in that stupid freeze frame.
Brilliant freeze frame.
Oh, God. Yeah, no, when I heard about this movie coming out, I said, okay, surely it looks like it takes itself a little bit seriously, which is like, okay, that's a bit of a red flag. But I said, surely this would be like a genuinely better movie than the 90s one. But I think we'll find out which one was more enjoyable by the end of this.
Right. Let's cut to the chase. Like I said, we start out in feudal Japan, where a farmer, I'm guessing former soldier,
some violent past.
Right. He's gone the history of violence route, where he's going, for a more low key existence.
Oh man, imagine Ed Harris played Sub-Zero in this movie.
And of course, he can't get away from his past. A Chinese assassin by the name of Bihan.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you will later know him as Sub-Zero.
Right, but I noted his name because I felt it was the logical sequel to that movie Solo. But Bihan, and anyhow,
that's where he duplicates and he has to fight himself.
Yep, that's the youth. That's the way I was using Bi in that situation.
Is that also the one where Indiana Jones finds his bones?
That's a much later sequel.
Oh, okay.
So anyways, there is I'm not gonna lie, this fight was actually pretty good. Some of the later fights in the movie where they can't focus on a single fight to save their lives, not the same. But these two guys, they duke it out, and in the process, we do find out, I guess, the Baihan, as you said, Sub-Zero, he's got ice powers, and he ends up killing the farmer's wife and son. And they have to duke it out. And but he spares the daughter, which an ancient prophecy and yada yada yada.
Well, because they hide the baby, right? When
I think the
Bihan,
little boy hides him.
Yeah, when Bihan shows up, they hide the baby. And I gotta say, right off the bat, this scene does like actually kind of lie to you, like you said, because you think like, oh, all the fights are gonna be like this. We're in for a treat. Don't get your hopes up, kids.
No.
But one thing I did notice is the music in this opening scene is just like, it sounds like a death metal band farting. Because like it's just like, like it's supposed to sound like badass and like, I don't know, kind of like a dubstep type thing for a bit, but it just sounds like a big old fart. Lots of CG blood.
Lots of CG blood. Hanzo, that is our farmer. He does unfortunately get killed in his battle with Bihan, and they do a whole, Inferno Jedi thing where he just burns up and disappears, and we get the appearance of Lord Raiden.
Yeah,
who comes in and rescues the baby daughter who was hidden from the clutches of the assassins.
I will say that this movie is more appropriately cast than the '90s one.
Yes,
we don't have Christopher
it's
Lambert.
Weird seeing a white French guy play an Asian thunder god.
Like, I'm genuinely surprised that in the '90s one, Liu Kang wasn't played by like Scott Baio.
Oh, they could have got Jason Scott Lee. He played Bruce Lee.
Or like, who's the other guy in Double Dragon? Scott Wolf.
Oh, not Mark DeCosta. Scott
Wolf.
Okay. Well, anyways,
that movie
we
tried
get
to tell
our
us that those guys were brothers, Nathan. Brothers.
Yeah, the Lee brothers, Home and Ugg.
Oh.
Hanzo's dead, and we get our exposition title card about the tournament, where there's an ancient prophecy that Outworld and Earthrealm have to duke it out in a tournament called Mortal Kombat, and if either realm wins 10 in a row, they become the rulers of the other realm.
And Earthrealm is sucking shit. They've lost 9 in a row.
9 in a row, yeah.
Oh, and Raiden also...
We're definitely the bad news bears of this whole... the Washington Generals of this Mortal Kombat situation.
Again, dream casting. Raiden could have been Billy Bob Thornton. But Raiden also...
Train you? Can't you see I'm on my break?
Raiden takes that baby, right? He's like, oh, this baby's going to be important because it's like the spawn of fucking Hanzo.
Well, because one of the part of the prophecy is that a champion will emerge to save Earth from the clutches of losing its 10th Mortal Kombat in a row.
And then I believe, Nathan, we meet quite possibly the lamest character in this movie, our hero.
Oh my god. Cole Younger. I don't believe a character in any Mortal Kombat game.
Nope. Completely made for this movie.
Red flag right there.
Why not just have it be Liu Kang again?
That's just it. Like, at least the 90s one had the decency to make the main character and the supporting characters all legitimate characters from the game.
It's crazy because this movie kowtows to the fans so much, and there's so much fan service, and yet they have a character that is not in any of the games.
Right. And I don't even think he's been retconned into the games as like DLC or anything.
I think the video game fans are probably okay with that.
Yeah, because that's the things that's what they like when they're making a video game of that. Let's talk about Silent Hill or not, because I that's the rage I feel that Mortal Kombat fans would feel going into this, having to suffer through almost 2 hours of a character you've never seen in any of the games that you love,
and is not an interesting character at all. He's literally introduced here as a shitty fighter who loses a fight.
And the only reason why he's still fighting is because he'll come in and fight for $200 at the last minute.
Yeah. And he has he has it's a girlfriend and his daughter, right?
Well, I thought it was more of a nuclear family, wife and kid. They never make it super clear what their relationship, but we do know that the younger girl is his daughter. No question.
Yes. Smash cut to Outworld?
Yeah. Oh, we get to meet Jax as well during that cage fight thing.
I wrote down that he might as well come into the movie and say, "Hi, I'm Jax from the video game."
Well, yeah, that at the very least it tells you the casting was kind of spot on.
Sure.
So kudos for that. But yeah, we do go to Outworld, and of course we see Sub-Zero, and he was sent by Shang Tsung to recruit. We do go to Outworld. We meet Shang Tsung and Sub-Zero, but is this also where we meet Molina and Cabal? Or is that later?
Man, I don't even know if they're introduced here. Honestly, I know that when they're introduced, they're given their names as if it's like a big moment, and then the characters are like a big fat nothing for the most part. But I know that when we go to Outworld, he basically says so we only need to win one more tournament. So Sub-Zero, what I want you to do is go to Earthrealm and kill all the people we could possibly be up against. And I was like, wait a second, is this how you won every other tournament, by fucking forfeit?
Probably.
It's that's not quite as impressive as winning 9 tournaments in a row.
Not the way the tournament was run in the 90s Mortal Kombat. Because I mean, in the 90s one, there was a nice boat ride. They were even prevented from fighting before they got to the tournament. There was a nice big banquet. They had to have some nosh and rest before the tournament started. Also, the tournament started in that one.
Yeah, and during the movie it started, in fact.
And was a good portion of the movie, actually.
Yeah, at least half the movie is the tournament. But no, this is this movie.
This movie.
Quite the complicated birthmark that Cole has.
Oh, yeah, right? Because Jax thinks it's his, a tattoo or his brand. And the daughter, with her big mouth, has to explain that it's a birthmark and not a tattoo. And just letting everybody know that he's the chosen one.
Just in case we didn't get it.
Right.
At minute 6.
But Jax has one, too.
Yeah.
So is it just something that's randomly assigned by the cosmos?
Well, I thought it was didn't they explain that later on that there was some criminal they were after and Jax killed him and then his birthmark thing transferred onto his body? I thought that's what they said.
That was Kano. That happened to Kano.
I thought that also happened to Jax, though.
Oh, it might have happened to Jax, but I know for sure they say that's how Kano got his. He snuck up on a guy unawares, killed him, and then it transferred over to him.
But yeah, this is nothing really happens here though. Jax is just kind of you're a good fighter, even though he just tapped out. And then and then they cut to Cole.
Go to the and then we get this street attack from Sub-Zero where he makes it snow in July in, I guess, California. I'm not sure.
I just assumed he was a big Monty Python fan. He wanted to do some Christmas in July.
Well, okay, that's a possibility.
Nothing about that says that he could be violent, and just because he's throwing sharp pieces of ice at people, I mean,
I'm a jolly person.
Get over here. Wait, that's not me.
Get over here. I've got a gift for you.
Yeah, so it just starts snowing and he starts like attack, and then Jax comes in and he's like, come with me if you want to live, and like Cole and his family go with Jax and drive away from Sub-Zero. And then the best thing is like Cole is like, what the fuck was that thing? And Jax is like, maybe say thank you. And I'm like, no, dude, what the fuck is
No,
that thing is the correct response.
That is absolute. Yeah, exactly. If I'm going out for I don't know, a snow cone, and I'm attacked, besieged, if you will, by an undead ninja zombie who has ice powers, and a large chap who works for apparently a clandestine government organization rescues me. The first thing I'm gonna ask is, what the hell was that thing?
Yeah.
Not, hey, thanks for saving us. It's the appropriate order is, what the hell is that thing? He explains what it is. Thank you for saving us from that thing.
Right. Like, Jax, calm down. He's gonna thank you.
So needy and thirsty. All right, so we get some more name dropping because Jax mentions Sonya.
Yeah, he's like, you gotta go find Sonya Blade. I've been working with her. We're searching for the Chosen One, blah, blah, blah. Oh, there's Sub-Zero. I gotta go chase him in a big abandoned building.
And he sends Cole away to Indiana to find Sonya Blade while he hunts down Sub-Zero in this abandoned building. Now, the gun effect, when the Sub-Zero froze the bullets and they were all scattered because it's shotgun, that was kind of cool. The fight, it was just these two guys fighting it at the same time, so the fight scene looked kind of cool. But it's glimpses like this that actually end up hurting more when you watch this movie, because there are glimpses of what could be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if these fights and the choreography that went into like this fight and to the fight that started the movie, if that kind of choreography and work went into a Mortal Kombat movie where the tournament started early and we got to see fights like this throughout the movie, chef's kiss. But that's not what happens.
No.
Jax gets his arms frozen off.
Yep, frozen and ripped off, and he gets tossed off, and you're like, oh no, Jax is totally dead. He'll never come back.
And I was like, no, he's not, because if I remember Jax, he's supposed to have like biomechanical arms, and this is how he gets them.
And this
because
is actually
apparently ice cauterizes.
And this is actually what you mentioned earlier, where we actually do meet Melina at this point, because I wrote down, introducing Melina because she'll be so important to the plot. Just kidding.
And they also mention Reptile, who doesn't look like Reptile from the game.
And I didn't even know that that's who it's supposed to be later. Like, just...
Yeah, he calls it, like, he says the Reptile Psycho or something like that. So I'm like, oh, cool, we're going to get to see Reptile. And we get like a picture of, like, there's a statue of Goro, or one of Goro's ancestors as well, because I saw like a big four-armed thing, and so I was like, it didn't look like Shiva, which was the girl version of Goro from the video game, so I just figured it was Goro, and that's how they were shoehorning his reference in, because I'll say this, what this one has in common with not the 90s first Mortal Kombat one, but Mortal Kombat Annihilation, where they just start shoehorning names in, and people show up for like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Just so they can say they got that character in the movie.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing with like that character Melina. She shows up later, obviously, and does like some fighting or whatever, but like it's not necessary. Like none of them need to be there really, except for like a couple of them.
And it's weird too, because Sub-Zero in this one kind of serves as Shang Tsung's right-hand guy. And then when we're introduced to Melina, she's also got that kind of, right-hand kind of vibe going. But they don't use her to, like, I don't feel the abilities or the capabilities that they could have. If they had taken this stuff that they did with Sonya, where she's like, where they at first, because she doesn't have, like, the Mortal Kombat symbol on her or anything like that. If they had figured out a way to get that onto her sooner, there could have been some really good fights between Melina and Sonya, but it's a wasted opportunity, unfortunately, with this movie, which a lot of stuff happens in this movie.
And there's another road they could have gone. Why not just make Sonya Blade the main character?
That's the thing too. I mean, especially if you look at the way she kind of starts out, she's working with Jax. I know in the original Mortal Kombat movie, she was almost, she was a secondary character, but she had depth in that she was trying to capture Kano because Kano had killed one of her partners.
Yeah.
And that's how she ended up on the junk that was going to the tournament that we actually get to see in that movie. And so, I mean, there is depth to her character, and there really is no reason why they couldn't have used that as a main character driving story, or any of them, really. The fact they just made up a character and pass it off with some weak sauce idea that he's Scorpion's great grandson is kind of bullshit.
Yeah, it's just I don't like why. Just like why? Why do we need this? Any of this?
It's not like they were starved for choice either. I mean, you don't even, if you're gonna reference Jax and other characters from later Mortal Kombat games, I think at that point it's wide open. You can pull from any character that's ever been in a Mortal Kombat game, and there's 11 direct Mortal Kombat games, not to mention spin-offs.
They should have just made that guy that says friendship the main character.
Oh, it's Tobias, isn't it? One of the developers. He's the guy who's friendship or toasty.
Sure. I don't know. I just think he should have been the I think he should have been the main character. Wouldn't it have been great if in the middle of the fight one of the other characters just went toasty?
I would have noticed it, and I would have been like, more fan service, because they do not shy away from that in this movie at all.
So the girl playing Sonya Blade, I thought is pretty decent, and then she's showing off her she's living in like a shitty trailer or whatever, and then we meet her the guy that she has tied up, and it's Kano, and I take it back what I said about Cole. This is the character I hate the most. His character is essentially...
You're supposed to hate him,
No,
though.
but I just, like, I found him so annoying. Like, listen, I don't even know. I'm sure that actor is great in other stuff, but it just, like, every time he opened his mouth, I just wanted to turn the movie off. Like, it's just like, oh, I got an idea for a character. He's got an Australian accent, and he says fuck a lot. Done. Don't have to do anything else.
Don't forget he's a misogynist and repulsive.
Yeah. Oh, and pretty racist later too.
Yes. But I mean, he is a bad guy. So I mean,
no, I get it. I just couldn't stand him.
Oh, hello, sunshine.
Who are you?
It's Kano.
Kano. Kano what?
Kano, none of your fucking business.
Was that Russian?
Do I sound Russian to you, you fucking idiot?
He's a mercenary with the Black Dragon Clan. Arms dealer, drug runner, murder for hire, scum of the earth.
I also give really good foot massages.
You have a marking.
Actually, that's kind of a funny story. You want to tell him?
I was tracking another champion. I was lucky enough to find Kano here instead. Right after he slit the guy's throat.
Yeah, well, next time, be more punctual.
So as Sonya is kind of showing Cole around her clandestine trailer with its fucking CRT monitors and everything, we are introduced to Kano, and this is when Reptile attacks. And it's not Reptile in the way that we would see him in games, because if anybody's ever played in the Mortal Kombat games, especially the earlier ones, Reptile is done out in ninja garb, just like Sub-Zero or Scorpion, but he's green.
Yeah.
And in this case, they're fighting like a giant Gila monster.
Yeah, he's just like a CGI creation.
Yeah, a snake thing. Kano manages to stick a road flare in him, which lights him up so he can't use his chameleon powers, and then we get another bit of fan service where Kano rips its heart out because that's his finishing move.
And then he says, Kano wins.
Yes. I was really surprised that they didn't go with the full fatality.
Me too, because they do it later.
Yeah. Well, maybe they were pacing themselves.
Yeah.
They're like, we don't want to seem like it's egregious or obnoxious.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
pull it back a bit.
Yeah,
pull it back
this movie
a bit.
was like, we need to show some restraint. We are Mortal Kombat 2021. We need to ease up a little bit.
Yeah, well, we're cinema auteurs. That's.
There is a
You
kind
guys got the Oscar reel ready, right? We're
Yeah.
gonna submit this to the Academy.
Yeah, and it's definitely going to be the reptile footage too.
You know what? I don't. Here's the thing. We say this shit now, but let's not forget Suicide Squad won an Oscar
for like makeup or something though.
It's still an Oscar-winning movie.
I mean, the makeup was probably deserving of a win. The makeup had nothing to. I will say the makeup had nothing to do with the writing.
No, nothing at all.
But yeah, they end up. Yeah, they kill Reptile, and then she's trying to like negotiate him to take them to Raiden's palace because he's like, "Oh yeah, I run guns there all the time, mate."
Yeah, well, and like the locals talked about it, so he kind of knows where to get it. And he's like, she offers him $2 million, and he says 3. And actually, no, he says $2 million. And you're living in this shithole, and she's like, "Hey, you watch it. I grew up in this very trailer park, so you watch your mouth." Basically, saying she's gonna beat his ass for talking smack, and then she agrees to offering him $3 million. And then we get the funny little bit where Cole asks her, "You're really gonna give him $3 million?" She's like, "Look at this shithole. Do you think I have $3 million?"
Yeah. This movie has jokes.
Funny stuff.
Don't get used to them because they're few and far between, except for the quote-unquote jokes that Kano has. For most of the other stuff is pretty super serious.
So, all right, I was doing my level best to take notes during this movie.
Okay.
But I could not follow a goddamn thing in this airplane scene.
So,
like when Kano was talking to his mom, aunt, whoever's flying the plane for them, I couldn't follow a single thing that they were saying.
Oh, I don't know.
All I knew was they were flying over the area where Raiden's palace was, and Kano kicked Cole out of the plane so he could skydive down to where they needed to go.
Yeah, for some reason they skydive out like 35 kilometers or 35 miles away from like where Raiden's palace is. For some reason, it's just like, I don't think Raiden's gonna shoot you down. Like,
well, I mean, if he's omniscient in any sort of way, he would know that, you know, 2 of the fighters of the tournament are on that plane, so I probably shouldn't use my lightning powers to take out that plane.
Right, exactly. But yeah, they go down there, and then they're just like, I believe it was Yahoo Serious's mom that was in the plane.
Straight out of young Einstein. Honestly, because they talk a bit about his thin backstory, but I couldn't understand what they were talking about, and I caught nothing. I mean, it might have been the fact that I was watching this while you know kids and stuff were around, but I don't mean like little kids. I mean like my kids, just yammering and things.
Yeah, so they're going to Raiden's palace, and then they shortly after this they meet Liu Kang, right? And Kano's like, "Oh my god, this is crazy. We get superpowers. Hey audience, just so you know, this world is wacky." Because he
calls him MC Hammer Pants, which did not seem like a timely joke in any way, shape, or form.
Which hilariously and weirdly enough is a joke made in next week's movie. Like MC Hammer is also referenced, so I don't understand why 2021 went so hard on MC Hammer jokes.
I can understand why next week's one does it. I don't understand why this one does it.
But it's weird because, at this point, Kano just becomes like the audience surrogate, which is really weird because he's supposed to be like a monster, but because he keeps...
Yeah, we're supposed to hate him because, like you said, he every time he opens his mouth, it's he's being either a racist, disgusting pig or a misogynist, disgusting pig.
But it's weird because all his dialogue from this point forward is just like him being in amazement at everything and like literally spelling out what happens in the movie. Like he's like, "We get superpowers? You're an ancient god? You're from this world?" Like it's like he's just spelling out the movie. I think that's maybe another reason why I really can't stand his character.
He's constantly stating the obvious.
Yeah, exposition. Because Liu Kang shows up and he's like, he shows off his fireballs and then he's like, "Come check out my man cave, guys."
They do have a bit of an impromptu fight, yeah, because we do get to see the fireball power, and we find out that the I guess the monks or whoever, like the people who are like there for Lord Raiden, managed to save Jax, and they're attaching like bionic arms to them, and I was like, those they were a lot more impressive in the video game.
Yeah, he's
the ones we start out with anyways.
He's got baby robot boy arms.
Yeah, exactly. So this big beefy chest thing going on, and like this like spindly Napoleon Dynamite things sticking out of his shoulders.
But man, for the 8 millionth time in this movie, we hear a character saying, "We gotta win this 10th tournament or else Earthrealm is gonna be enslaved." It's like, yes, we've heard it from everyone at this point. Like Shang Tsung has said it, the fucking opening Chiron has said it. I'm sure someone else said it. I think Sonya Blade maybe has said it so far.
You know what really would have put an emphasis on us having to win that 10th tournament? That the tournament happening. Being in the tournament for a good duration of the film, so that you at least have a reason to reference why it's so important for you to win said tournament that you're currently actively participating in.
Well, put your mind at ease, Nathan, because we're only about 40 minutes in. I'm sure we'll get to the tournament before this movie is over.
Right. We get to find out that Raiden's kind of a bit of a Sergeant Hartman. Because as soon as he meets his champions, he basically calls them pathetic and weak.
Yeah, he's not as nice as Christopher Lambert.
No. I mean, but, and you know what? And you would think he being rude. I mean, French and all. I mean, French. Not. Don't speak. You know what? I'm just gonna stop talking about the French. Should probably do that.
Okay, and he takes another drink. Just to hide from his...
Yeah, don't blame me. Blame the British, because it's London dry gin.
But yeah, isn't this...
You know the thing about the British is...
Oh, God, here we go.
Just going to stop.
You're going to get me in trouble on my other podcast. Isn't this where everyone gets attacked? Like Shang Tsung and his crew show up, and then Liu Kang is attacked by Sub-Zero until he's saved by Kung Lao.
Well, yeah, we do get to meet Kung Lao, but there is a bit where, and it does happen like right around this time, because like I said, Sergeant Hartman Raiden does his Sergeant Hartman. Kung Lao, we meet him, and then we got Jax's arms. They do a bit of a montage where they're trying to teach everybody their special power,
their Arcana.
Right,
which is
their Arcana,
a thing made up for the movie,
which is next to Texas. It's a Tex Arcana. That's,
but it's not a thing from the games. That's the other thing.
No, it isn't. No, these are just ingrained abilities that you have in the game. It's not something you have to unlock. It's not something you have to learn. All you have to do is know how to do, roll forward C, and then that will make the fireball or the nut punch or whatever it is. Right, exactly. Fighting games in the 90s were weird.
Pausing it every 5 seconds. What? Back 3 times?
I gotta look at. How are you supposed to do that? And then you know what? I'm just gonna stop playing this. I'm gonna put it on 2 players, and I'm just gonna practice. I'm gonna practice the fights and the finishing moves.
Uppercuts it is.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you this. One of the reasons why Johnny Cage was my favorite character in the first Mortal Kombat game is because he had a special move that was so easy to do. It was just down and punch. And if you did that, you punch someone in the nuts.
There you go.
Of course, they had to go ahead and make it like more complex to do it in the later sequels. I'm like, come on, that's not fun at all. I'll sit around and punch guys in the nuts all day. We get that training montage, like I said, and a bit of a backstory with Liu Kang, where we find out I think he killed a kid.
No, he says he killed a pedophile.
Oh, was
Yeah,
it?
because he said, I killed someone. Oh, what did he say? He said, I killed someone that had an interest in younger people or something like that, and like children. So he killed like
orphans.
Yeah, and he killed like a child trafficker or something.
Upon graduation, I was given the name of a man. He was a purveyor of rare things. Children. Orphans. Like me. He had a marking, so I chose to take it from him. And in that moment, my Arcana came forth.
Oh, okay.
But
see, I did not find it super clear. It sounded to me like he killed a kid.
I looked it up because
That's a way better. Incidentally, if I'm mistaken, that's a way better story for him.
just that he killed a kid and that made him reach his Arcana.
No, I mean what you're telling me. It's a way better story for him than me. Just like, why is he fighting for the good guys and he killed a kid?
Listen, there was this 7-year-old. He was pissing me off. I murdered him, and that's when I discovered I have fireballs. But okay, so this is the thing that's weird to me too. So when they all show up, when Shang Tsung and his dope crew show up and they start attacking, Kung Lao makes the save. Raiden puts up this big force field, right, so that they can't get to them before the tournament. He's like, hey, no cheating. Which begs the question: why did he do that like 7 tournaments ago?
Well, here's the thing: he would have to have all of his champions gathered in one place too.
So this is the first time he's thought of doing this?
You know what? There's a lot of reasons / bullshit that he gives as to why he hasn't stepped in before. So I mean, the fact that he hadn't bothered to go out and find his champions does not surprise me in the least.
And fucking
or protect them in any way, shape, or form in the lead up to the tournament.
I also wrote down that Arcana in this, finding your Arcana in this movie, it's like this movie's version of like metachlorians.
Yeah, it's kind of bullshit and made up that has never appeared in any game whatsoever. But they got to figure out some sort of horseshit way to introduce it. Kano finds his Arcana after Liu Kang and Kung Lao just talk a million miles of shit about him.
Oh yeah, they're like,
he apparently gets a laser eye.
He's like, yeah, laser eye, crikey. Because they're like, basically like, you're just a little man, you're just a little sad man, you're a shitty fighter, and you're a dumb person. And I guess his reaching his Arcana is just being very put upon.
And it gets all riled up and whatnot.
Liu Kang also says, is like, basically puts up like a no girls allowed sign on the clubhouse because he's like, Sonya, you don't have a tattoo, so you can't fight with us because you're not the chosen one.
Right, she doesn't have the mark of the tournament on her.
I just pictured, when I had said that out loud, I picture Bruce McCullough doing that. Like a Kids in the Hall sketch. You can't fight with us because you're not the chosen one.
You don't have the mark or an Arcana.
Oh, and Liu Kang, the actor playing Liu Kang, he gives such a super serious performance. It's so goofy though.
And that's it. It's you're right. It's so over the top with how super duper serious he's taking it that it goes to the point of farce.
Yeah.
Where you're like, dude, you're fighting next to a guy who has a buzzsaw hat. Like, have some fun with the role.
Right.
Dude.
That's the thing
Come
about
on.
this movie. Like, I feel like if they had just embraced how stupid this movie is, because it's a very stupid movie, and if they had just embraced it and just had fun with it, more, like the 90s one, this could have just been like a gorier update of that.
And that's just it. Like there's if you think back to that 90s one, I paid theater money for that and will proudly say I paid theater money for that movie because there is such an like it's so tongue-in-cheek and knows that it is camp that it's like we're not going to go with a full force where we're winking at the camera, but we're going to have some fun with it. And this one here, there's a couple of points where they do that, but by and large, you get guys like Liu Kang who are just like, I need to take this as super duper serial as possible.
Right, exactly. What's your favorite cereal? Well, it's you, Oprah.
We get some. What do we get? We get some more people that we meet.
Natara,
Cabal,
General Raiko,
yeah.
Which I get it. I get it. These are probably like beloved characters from the game, but I will just say in this movie, like I don't give a shit.
I only knew Cabal,
but they don't do anything to make any of them interesting. Like
no,
Natara's got wings. That's cool, I guess.
Yeah, the only thing that they do to give any depth to any of these characters that we meet at this late stage is that Kano and Cabal know each other,
and that's almost it. Like they just mention that, and then that's it.
And that the only other thing that we know is that Kano left Cabal high and dry, and that's why he has the mask. He can't breathe. He has like a functioning. He's Darth Vader, or like Darth Vader if you ordered him from Wish.
He's essentially wearing like a very flexible iron lung.
Pretty much, yeah. And that being said, Cabal figures, you know what? I could probably talk to Kano and get him to turn over to our side and help us out.
Okay, here's the other thing. Why did Raiden make this force field so that a guy like Kano could just break it?
I don't know.
Because that was stupid too. Because he's like, Cabal comes up to the force field and he's like, "Hey, you should totally let us in. It's super cool fighting over here." And Kano's like, "How much does it pay?" And then we see that he's like, they don't make lightning rods like they used to, and he kind of tosses it aside. And you're like, wait a second. How shitty is Raiden? He's like making these like
he can't even have his powers just be a thing. They have to be imbued into something, and that thing is easily destroyable by humans.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
like Kano destroys it with his laser eye, but I feel that somebody with like an arc welder could have done the same thing. Right.
Especially because he picks up a rod and throws it down. I was like, wait, so if you just kick the fucking lightning rod over, that's all you need?
No, he split it like in half with his laser eye.
Still,
he broke the rod.
Yeah.
So
which is like make it out of a non-laserable metal.
Right. Cole has left it by this point, hasn't he?
He leaves because we find out the big shocking secret that he's a descendant of not Scorpion, sorry, Hanzo. Yeah. And then he's like, well, I guess I'll leave then. And Raid just makes like a little lightning portal for him, and he's like, bye.
And actually, that's where I noted he pressed X for the fast travel option.
Yeah, fucking cheater.
And it's a mechanic to help you get around the maps quicker. Don't be judging, Brendan.
I just want to
playing Far Cry 6 and it's a big map. I mean, sorry.
I'm just adding things to his character that make him the worst.
He goes back, of course, to visit his wife or girlfriend and daughter, and we see Shang Tsung is sending somebody to dispatch with Cole because he still feels he's a threat. Mm-hmm. And we see all this smoke coming through the vents, and all this smoke that's creaking through the cracks in the floorboards, and it's winding this smoke. So I figure, oh sweet, we're gonna see the ninja smoke from the Mortal Kombat Goro.
Gotta have your Goro.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you can have your Goro, but I mean, this movie, who is up till now has just been so shamelessly shoehorning in references to characters from the games. You got all this smoke, and you don't use smoke.
I thought it was weird that they lived at a farmhouse.
Right? Because I thought they were in California.
I thought they were, in the heart of the city. Like, how far outside of the city do they live?
Did he send them to stay at Sonya's place in Indiana while he was off at the tournament that never starts?
I don't know. No, because I don't think they're in a trailer, are they?
It is. I'm not going to say it's not a lavish palace as to where they're at.
I mean maybe. I don't. You know what? I don't fucking know.
Because Sonya's place wasn't a trailer. I mean, when they did that shot, that wide shot of it, there was a trailer, but there was also like a big building on the butt of it too. So
yeah.
Either way, it's that's not the part that I'm mad at. It's the fact that you use all this smoke and then you give me Goro.
Yeah, at least have, like, I don't know, Cheech Marin show up or something.
Or smoke. He's a character in the game.
Can he be played by Tommy Chong?
That'd be delightful, actually.
Hey, man, flawless victory.
Get over here, man. Oh, that's not me, man.
Cole's not here, man. Cole versus Goro at the farmhouse, and this starts a running trend, by the way, of the fact that Cole, in every fight he's in, needs someone else to interfere before he wins.
It also starts a terrible trend in this movie where they can't focus on a fight to show us. They
cut between like 8 fights, so let's just stick with this one for a second.
I'm gonna give the rundown, so this way maybe we can just go from fight to fight to fight.
Okay.
We've got Goro and Cole.
Yeah.
They're duking it out. There is
Liu Kang and Cabal.
Kung Lao. Pardon me?
I was gonna say Liu Kang and Cabal.
Liu Kang and Cabal. Kung Lao and Natara.
Yeah.
Right? Jax and Raiko. Jax now has, like, doesn't he now have his super duper arms?
No, well, he does in the midst of this fight because he saves Sonya, and I guess because he's saving Sonya, his baby arms turn to big boy arms.
And that's his Arcana?
Yeah, baby.
Okay. And we also get Sonya. She starts to fight
Melina.
Oh, Melina, right.
And then the stupidest thing, Melina is a dumb person because she starts to fight her and she's like, you don't even have the mark. You're not worth it. She's still kicking your ass. You might as well kill her.
Well, I mean, Melina had her pinned down and just said, like, her death wouldn't matter or doesn't matter. I mean, does she understand what Shang Tsung is going to be doing?
Right.
I mean, it's enslavement or death. That's really what that's the mindset he's coming from. So Melina should just be like, you know what? I've been fighting this formidable opponent for the last little bit, and I don't think she doesn't strike me as the kind to be enslaved. I should probably just kill her and just do Liu Kang or Shang Tsung rather a favor, and doesn't do it.
And listen, I don't know what year this takes place because she might still be pretty upset about the bad breakup with John Morrison. I don't know, but Melina really doesn't have her head on straight.
Wrestling reference, got it in. It took us a bit there.
I know.
Shit.
I heard the name Melina. I was like, I better do it soon.
That's, man, like, you'd think we would have got it in there when we were talking about Reptile and we couldn't see him.
Right?
Yeah.
But no. Listen, it's been a long break. We needed a bit of a recoup there. But yeah, so Cole and Goro, it's not a very good fight.
No.
And
no.
when Cole
and he needs his girlfriend or wife to interfere. And why doesn't she swing for the head?
What does she do? She hits him with a.
She hits him with an axe, but she hits him in the back or the side. It's like, if Thanos has taught us anything, it's swing for the head.
Yeah. Exactly. And then when she does that, that distracts him long enough. And then Cole finds his Arcana, and at first I thought he was just getting a really hairy chest.
Yeah, because his Arcana is apparently, Aquaman body armor and a couple of fighting sticks.
Yeah, and he turns like he almost like looks like he's catching on fire or something, and I'm like,
Oh, I think it's supposed to be like he's absorbing kinetic energy, not unlike Black Panther,
yeah, which is like, all right, dude.
which is a way better movie.
Oh man.
So much considerably better.
Oh Jesus, no comparison. But yeah, he's just gets into. I wrote down that he kind of looks like if the Thing got into really good shape.
Okay, yeah.
Like just lost some of those rocks, those excess rocks. And he glows orange, and he just like fucking stabs Goro in the eye, cuts out his guts, cuts off his hands.
And my issue
It's no
with
ball
this,
punch. It's no ball punch.
It's no ball punch or pushed off a cliff. But Goro is the penultimate boss in the first game.
Oh, don't I know
He
it.
gets taken out by Cole just as he figures out his Arcana. I feel that Goro should have made it further in the movie. Had I known that the tournament wasn't going to start, I would have been like, okay, this makes sense. I guess, maybe. But I feel like it should be Goro and then Shang Tsung, because that's how it goes in the game.
He kind of gets the shaft in both Mortal Kombat movies.
But at the very least, with the 90s one, it's fun and funny, and Johnny Cage does it.
I kind of see the 90s one is a funny bit. It's like probably the best part in that whole movie, just because they build it up so much and you expect a huge fight, and then that happens, and it's kind of like, oh, that's kind of cute and amusing. In this one, it's just like, oh, it's just another shitty like CGI blood fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he kills him, and then so this actually I did like is when Kung Lao is fighting Natara, who is this girl with like wings or whatever, and he uses his hat like a saw blade and like fucking cuts her in half. That was kind of cool.
That's a thing from the game, and they get the flawless victory.
Oh, that part sucked.
Yeah,
I like when he did it, and
because it wasn't flawless. A
No, he got
flawless
his ass
victory is
kicked.
when the other. Exactly. The other person doesn't get a shot in. Natara got lots of good shots in before he finally got to use his hat as a saw blade.
They do that same joke in the 90s one. I remember they say flawless victory, and I remember even in that one being like, you just got your ass kicked, dude.
I'm gonna have to watch that again and report back to you.
Okay.
And I don't mind doing that because that one is delightful.
Well, I am done with this one, I'll tell you that much. But yeah, he cuts her in half, which was cool, and then says flawless victory, which is like, oh, you just ruined it. That's like having an amazing dinner and then you find out after it was made out of dead babies.
So you had the veal.
I did, yeah. I mean, like, if you're asking if I would try it again, I mean, maybe. But I just felt a little morally reprehensible.
Poor Kung Lao doesn't even get to rest or anything because he has to go into another fight, and then he gets killed. Like, come on, Kung Lao.
I mean, as a character in this movie, he kind of sucks.
I like Kung Lao. He was one of my go-to guys.
Oh, as a character in the game, he's fine, but just like in this movie, like I don't. To be fair, I don't care. To be fair, I don't really care about most of the characters in this movie. So when people die, I'm just like, okay,
all right, we're getting closer to the end.
Yeah,
then.
I mean, round in the bend, I see. Because he's introduced basically his whole emotional thing is he's Liu Kang's cousin, and then that's it. Like that, you're supposed to feel bad because Liu Kang feels bad, but we don't care about Liu Kang either. So who the fuck cares about anything? Whee! And now they get transported to like the void. We're in like the void of nothingness.
Yeah, I guess.
And Raiden is all the blood of tells Cole like the blood of your father is on your, or the blood of your great whatever
ancestors, and he gives him like the blade that was used to help kill Hanzo.
Yeah, use it to kill Sub-Zero.
We didn't say this every once in a while to remind us that he is Hanzo's grandson. Cole has to like, I don't know, see like the dagger or something else that is like a flash to a memory that Hanzo would have had, so we can see Hanzo apparently burning in hell, dying to be released.
Here's what we need to know that they're related. One scene of someone saying, there is a prophecy, and then that's it. We know. We don't need 18 characters telling us.
Yeah.
And then they all decide to like single out and fight Shang Tsung and his buddies. And I'm like, oh, like a tournament? Nope. Just fight them. So Jax kills General Rico, who I've decided to name the rejected bludgeon brother.
Right, with that hammer?
It's just like Harper and Rowan were like, maybe we should just be two of us.
Yeah, that's it. Building castles in the sky.
I gotta give Jax credit because when he kills Rico, he doesn't say some shoehorn tagline. He just says, yeah, these motherfuckers work. When he squishes his head with the big boy arms.
Yep, no, that's for sure.
Yeah, these motherfuckers work.
We do get a fight with Kano and Sonya here, which does give us a bit of catharsis with her character, because she actually does dispatch with Kano and gets her tournament marking.
She kills him with a garden gnome, right?
She does, garden gnome right to the eye.
Yeah.
I also noticed that during their fight, she is in such a poor trailer park that she couldn't have water in her toilet tank.
Yay.
Because they fight in, like, because they transport Kano back to where she lived.
Yeah.
And she goes back to fight him, and then during the fight, they like, trash her bathroom, and it's like, when they crashed into the toilet, there was no water at all.
Nope. Can't afford it. We've only got $150 million.
Right. Gnome to the eye. So Sonya gets her stuff. We go back. Kung Lao.
You mean Liu Kang?
Sorry, Liu Kang. Sorry. Liu Kang does his bicycle kick.
Yep.
So, for the fans.
There's that.
And fatality.
He said, yeah, he uses a fucking fire dragon to kill Cabal and says the word fatality. And I said, shut up, movie. Shut up. I think at one point Cole's wife says, I forget what's happening, but she offers, she wants to go with him, or she leaves or whatever, and she's like, fuck, another four-armed monster showing up, and she says it so casually.
Yeah.
As in like, oh, one of those again.
I will say this, for a movie that leaned into its R rating, we get gratuitous amounts of F-bombs in this movie, and some CG, but if you're gonna go with an R-rated Mortal Kombat movie, why don't you just dial up the fights and the blood?
Yeah, I mean, it's
in a tournament of some sort.
It's just a bunch of
fucking movie.
There's blood, but it's all like that 300 blood, like that CG stuff, which is like, not to say that it's always bad, but it's like it's not nearly as effective.
Yeah, no, it does not look convincing at all.
No. So then
Sonya. Okay, that's another thing that we need to discuss here too, because Kano has to go through a whole bunch of stuff to get his Arcana. Okay, Cole has to go through a whole lot of adversity and even fight Goro to get his Arcana. Jax has to fight the Bludgeon Brother with his spindly little arms before he gets his Arcana, which is apparently a tech upgrade. Liu Kang talks about how much work he did to get his Arcana. Apparently Sonya just gets hers because she killed Kano.
Yeah, because
she shows up and uses it and then shoots a hole through the middle of Melina.
Yeah, she has like pink energy.
No, they're like it's I don't know, it's like a Haruken, but it's like rings.
I just thought
she's almost like Shang-Chi with her rings, but I think she's only got about 8.
I just thought it was weird because like and maybe it's in the video game, I don't know, but I just thought it was weird that like her thing was just like a pink laser. Like, oh, we got to think of something for the girls to do. Girls like pink.
No, it's supposed to be like a rings.
Yeah, no,
Almost
but
like
I
a
mean, it was
rings
just
shot.
like hot pink, and
Oh,
it just made me love that was her thing. Like, it couldn't have just been like anything else. It had to be like, girls like pink, so it's gonna be pink. And that's the other thing
Cole-
too, because Cole is fighting Melina, and she has
Mm-hmm.
to save him and kill Melina.
right. But I think that's more has to do with the optics of it.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah,
mean
'cause-
I just mean that's the second fight that he's had to be saved from.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Nathan, I had to write this down because Sub-Zero lures him in with his wife and kid, and Cole goes, "Emily,
Emily, thank you. I have the same note.
He's like, Neil Breen would have been great in this movie.
And all of this is just is culminating with all this supernatural energy where we finally get to see Hanzo, who rose from hell to kill Sub-Zero.
Yeah, and then Sub-Zero is like, that was a Hattori Hanzo sword. Oh wait, that's a better
Yeah.
movie.
That's a way better movie. Also, another thing that they get wrong in this one is that the harpoon is not coming from his hand.
Oh, and they even do that in the 90s movie, right?
Yeah, they do.
And that movie has been accused of being like not super faithful in many other ways, and they still did that part
Yeah.
right.
Right.
But yeah, so yeah,
And he even this was another thing too. When we see the fight with Sub-Zero and Scorpion
Yeah.
for the first time,
'Cause-
when we first meet Scorpion, he throws out the harpoon and says in perfect English, "Get over here,"
Mhm.
and then proceeds to communicate exclusively in Japanese like he did throughout all the other rest of the movie.
Yeah, and it's a fight that Cole has to get someone else to win for him.
I would have got a bigger laugh out of that, or a better charge out of it, if they had done that and he had said it in that voice, like with that connotation, and in the subtitle it said "Get over here."
That would have been way better.
I would have slapped my knee.
Yep, it would have been
Laughing so hard.
way better. But Scorpion kills Sub-Zero eventually, because that fight is really long, and it's not nearly as good as the fight at the beginning because this is just a big CGI glop glop.
And okay, why does Sub-Zero start taking off parts of his outfit, like Kurt Angle summing up the match, getting ready to do the angle, the Olympic slams and everything?
Something for the ladies.
I guess.
And then yeah, Scorpion just like breathes fire on Sub-Zero and kills him.
In fairness, that is his fatality.
Yeah, no, I remember seeing that before. But then my favorite thing and the favorite part of this whole scene is shortly after this, Sub-Zero is dead, and Cole's wife and kid come up, and Cole just casually goes, "These are my friends."
Yeah,
Like a
yeah.
wizard,
There's some
a ninja.
got some questions. Let's see. No, a thunder god,
Yeah.
a cybernetic organism, a lady who shoots ring lasers out of her hands.
Yep. And a ninja who shoots fire.
Exactly.
These
Who is also your great 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 grandfather.
Oh, sorry, I was talking about the other ninja that shoots fire, Liu Kang.
Oh, okay.
I guess there's two of them.
He's a Shaolin monk.
Oh, sorry, the monk who shoots fire. My
Yeah,
mistake.
there you go. Yeah.
Shang Tsung shows up. He's just like, "It's okay. Death is only another portal." And I'm like, "What? Your princess is in another castle? What's going on?"
Well, I mean, given the amount of fatalities that have happened in Mortal Kombat games throughout the years, I feel that the cast for Mortal Kombat 11 should not include like Scorpion and Johnny Cage. So in this case, Shang Tsung might be a little right.
Is he just saying though that he's gonna bring them back for the sequel?
In some way, shape, or form, I guess. Cole busts Raiden's chops a little bit about not being able to help because he's the one who showed him the, the knife that killed Hanzo and, essentially unlocked his Arcana and helped bring Scorpion back. And I was like, you know what? He wasn't directly involved, so why don't you just shut up, Cole, and take the W?
It is a very, like, convenient, though, like, oh, and then they cover it by Raiden going, like, wink, wink, ha, ha, ha. It's like, okay.
And then we get our quick wrap-up where we find out that Cole is, he's done cage fighting, or at least physical cage fighting. Huh? Because he's off to Hollywood to recruit Johnny Cage to help fight in the next tournament.
Okay, so let's get going. I'm excited for this tournament to start. Here we go, Nathan. How does the tournament begin? Why are you crumpling up your notes,
Mortal
Nathan?
Kombat. And
Nathan,
that's
what?
Mortal Kombat.
No, what's going on?
That's it. That's the end of the movie.
No, we were supposed to have a tournament.
Nope, sorry. Maybe in the next one. Hopefully.
I'll never know.
They scrapped plans for a sequel because I really wanted to see Johnny Cage.
Oh, I don't know if they did or not. I just mean like unless it's for this, I won't watch it.
Come on, if you think that a sequel to this is gonna be better and it's not gonna make the criteria to be possibly one of the worst movies of the preceding year, I think if it ever comes out, you're gonna watch it, Brendan.
That's what I mean. If it's for this, but I don't want to watch it twice. Is what I'm saying.
Gotcha. I watched this twice. My nephew wanted to see it.
And then guys, you love the theme song, right? Well, here's a weird, shitty quasi cover of it that no one likes. Credits.
Because we'd rather play like half the royalties for using the sample than actually all the royalties for playing the actual, song.
Yeah, they couldn't afford it because the budget was only $150 million. Oh, sorry. No, my bad. Why do I keep saying $150 million? It was $55 million. But still, none of these are name actors. Like, you can afford to use the fucking music.
So, well, I guess I gotta ask then, Brendan. Is it worth a watch? Is it a drunk watch with friends? Are you gonna attempt head trauma to forget about it, or are you gonna avoid this one like the plague?
This was one of the worst movies. This is one of my least favorite movies of 2021. I would avoid this like the plague. I really, 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 really don't like this movie.
Okay, all right, that's fair. I don't have. I mean, despite the fact that we never get the tournament that's kind of promised to us, and there's no Johnny Cage, I'd get liquored up and watch this with friends for sure.
Okay,
yeah, so,
that's fair.
There you go.
I can totally see, and this is a movie where I could totally see why someone would maybe get that out of it. I don't know. I just watch this and just. I don't know. Maybe I'm just maybe I'm just getting to an age now where I'm just like, fuck this.
I also, again, were you a big Mortal Kombat fan?
I mean, I played the game. I didn't really.
But were you a big fan? See, I bought this one on the Genesis. I knew the blood code, so I could have the blood in it. I probably played. I definitely played 2 and 3 on the Genesis. I'm not even a big fan, but I am a bit of a fan. So I mean, the stuff they did in this movie, I wasn't angry at them for shoehorning and for fan service and stuff like that. So I think that's why I might get a little enjoyment out of it as far as, drunk watching it with friends, because most of my friends are going to be in that same boat where we might even just draw attention to the fact that they're shoehorning in and saying the names a million times.
I just think that, like, But I think we've talked about this before too, where it's like, sure, you can have your moments for the fans that will come to see this movie, but you also have to be more accessible to people just watching the movie, right? And I'm not saying I'm going into this completely blind. Like, I know Mortal Kombat. I played the first game and second game at least many times. But I think like it's just I don't know. It's just a big nothing for me.
Okay.
And it made me angry.
Well, it's not much of a nothing then if it made you angry. Made you feel something. All right, well, there we go. That's our take on it. If you guys want to just take a second, we're gonna take a bit of a break. You can go pee, get a refill on your drink or whatever. Because I don't know why I'm talking about this, why it's like it's live or anything, but we're gonna pay some bills. So stick around. We will be right back.
What were they thinking?
And we are back.
What's up, everyone?
Mortal Kombat. Oh, we should stop. We might get muted.
All right.
Want that, or we don't want that to happen to NPR. This is the low haiku, and it's a section of the podcast where we get a little poetic. And if you could maybe just give us the finer details of the low haiku, Brendan, that'd be delightful.
Yes, I would love to do that. The low haiku, what the low haiku is, folks, is 17 syllables, summing up the movie we just talked about. And unlike the movie we just talked about, when we promise there will be a haiku, this segment will indeed have a haiku.
Delivering on promises. That's what we do. So, would you like to start us off here, Brendan?
I would. Yes, I'll read my haiku for you. Wait, no tournament? Movie about tournament. Why no tournament?
Very good.
Nathan, you have some poetry for us as well?
I do. And this definitely goes back to the video game roots of this movie. Enter the code now. ABACABB. Better movie code. Thank you. And with that, we are in a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and out here. Woo!
Mortal Kombat!
Yes, sir. And I feel it. Yeah, but we're not going to talk about that. We've had our say about Mortal Kombat 2021. But we don't want you guys to think that we're the be all and end all, the stop and the start, the alpha and the omega, if you will. We don't want you just to believe what we have to say. So much so that we actually have this thing that we like to kick around the office here. We like to say, what is that thing that we like to say, Brendan?
Well, sometimes we like to say,
Don't take a word for us.
Yeah, that's right. Don't take our word for it. But I don't know, because this one's got some interesting things going on here with the tomatoes. What's the tomato meter saying here, Brendan?
well,
The critics, did they care for this thing at all?
I mean, sort of. Surprisingly, it's rotten, but 54% of critics did like it. But like when you compare it to the '90s movie, that's a dent.
Okay. Well, what about the audience? I mean, we didn't even get to the tournament, and our lead character wasn't even a character from a Mortal Kombat game. The audience must have just tore this thing apart.
86%.
Wow, this was liked by the audience.
Now,
to
I will
say the least.
I will say that because this is a newer movie, I feel like it is skewed a little bit because this movie came out on HBO Max. And it also went to theaters, and I feel like anyone that went to go see it in theaters in the height of the pandemic was like gonna like it no matter what.
They were fans.
Yeah. And if you like this movie, well, then you just like this movie because there's no other recommendations right now.
No, you might like the '90s one a lot better.
Yeah, you might like I don't know, Chud 2, Bud the Chud.
Well, let's grab us some critics here, Brendan, and you lead us off.
All right, let's see here. I'm going to go with Clarice Lawfrey from The Independent UK, and she says, it's a bold gamble to create a film that feels like the homework you have to do before the fun and the actual Mortal Kombat begins, and with a sequel yet to be announced, it's unclear whether the risk was worth it.
Okay. Well, my first one comes from friend of the podcast, Amanda the Jedi.
Amanda the Jedi?
And Amanda the Jedi, she wrote, I'm not saying it's remotely great, but I had an absolute blast. 6.5 out of 10 from Amanda the Jedi.
This is one I remember talking about how much I hated at the time, and I remember her commenting and saying, you know, Brendan, this is one that I don't think we're on the same level for. Also, Mulan, because that was a movie that I liked a lot more than she did.
Okay.
There you go, Amanda the Jedi, friend of the show. Okay. Rohan Nahar of the Hindustan Times says, if there was ever a film that was given a free pass because we are in the throes of a pandemic, it's Mortal Kombat, a movie so sloppy that surviving it almost requires a vaccination of its own.
Aww. Victor Stiff from That Shelf wrote, I had high hopes for this adaptation, and it let me down. In a lot of ways. But it still delivered enough electrifying action and iconic characters to keep me entertained. Apparently that's a fresh review. I'm not really where Victor's going with this. Did he hate it or did he like it?
Well, I said he kept him entertained.
But it let him down in a lot of ways.
Yeah, well, I don't know. You'll have to ask Richard. We'll have to get to the bottom of this.
All right.
This is an interesting review from Mark Kermode because I would not have thought he would have given this a fresh review just based on his takes on most movies. But he says, it could have been much, much worse. I went in with particularly low expectations, but kind of enjoyed it. The thing I did enjoy most was the gratuitous gore.
Okay.
Not that he's like a stuffy critic, but I'm a little shocked at reading that.
Well, maybe you're looking at something maybe like what Sean Edwards from Fox 4 of Kansas City had to say about it.
He's a witch. Oh, sorry.
So much profanity, even I blushed. The first 20 minutes are beyond brilliant, but the rest is slacker silly and hammy light. 3 out of 5.
That is the thing about Kano, though. Like, every time he said fuck, it kind of reminded me of when Triple H swore in Blade Trinity. I was like, this just sounds wrong.
Just putting it in there so they can say they had him swear a bunch.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, we got that R rating. Let's do it. All right, let's see one more here. Allison Johnson of Cambridge Day says, a dumb movie can be good as long as it's fun, and Mortal Kombat falters by never achieving that.
Dominic Gorey from the New Zealand Herald says, the competent fight scenes look expensive, but none are especially inventive or memorable. Even the gruesome fatalities seem underexploited. 2 out of 5.
Oh.
I don't know why he apparently moved to Chicago at the end of it there.
New Zealand by way of Illinois.
Right.
Well, shall we go into the bottomless snake pit of audience reviews?
Yeah, sure, man, because apparently they liked it. So
86%.
let's see what they have to say. Yeah.
Well, Camilla M says, more than awesome! In case you take this as a fairy tale, it's fantastic. I love the movie. 5 stars. I don't know why. In case you take this review as a fairy tale, I don't quite get that.
Not really sure where she's coming at with that one here.
Mortal Kombat, I don't believe, is based on a fairy tale. So.
Well, my first one comes from Brandy, and I can only assume it's the singer Brandy from Moesha.
And I still know what you did last summer.
Right, exactly. And she writes, the movie was very true to the game. A little too true, IMO. The carnage. The carnage. 4 out of stars.
What?
That's what she wrote.
All right. Nick W. I don't know who that would be.
I got nothing. Nope.
Nick W says, great movie, fine balance of storytelling without boring you. Fight scenes were very well choreographed. I had assumed I knew how the movie would be, who would fight who, and how. It kept me guessing the whole time. I bought the movie. I liked it so much. I'm about to watch it right now. 5 stars. I like how he said the movie kept him guessing because he just wasn't sure who was going to fight each other. Like that was the whole selling point for him.
I mean, in all fairness, the only ones I knew that were absolutely going to fight each other was Kano and Sonya.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised that Shang Tsung was such a secondary character in this movie.
He didn't even really fight, did he?
He didn't at all. He just took Kung Lao's soul and that was it.
He's the boss, like the ultimate in the first game
and the first movie.
Yeah,
that's like the big fight at the end, Liu Kang and Shang Tsung. In this one, he's kind of an afterthought.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever.
Well, my next one comes from Captain Morgan. That's what it says here.
Okay.
And he writes, about what I expected. Editing was a bit choppy in one of the fights. Just one. The actor's commitment really held it together. 3.5 out of stars.
Captain Morgan can't hold his liquor.
Yeah, it's surprising, right?
Right? You'd think he would be good at that.
Yeah.
Also, commitment from the actors. Okay. I think they were all pretty much there to read their lines. Robert H., who I can only assume is our compadre Robert Hooper.
It could be.
Just says, love this movie. It's a new take on the game. 5 stars.
Okay.
Very descriptive.
Right. Well, I got a negative one here, actually, from Aaron L. Shang Tsung's hairstyle. What happened to his hair? Scorpion spoke Japanese to Cole, yet the movie never showed him speaking or talking in it, nor established he had a Japanese background. Music didn't sync with the movie. 1 out of stars. I'm pretty sure they explained several times that Cole is like the great descendant of Scorpion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, to his credit, he probably tuned out.
Because the music was out of sync.
Right. He was distracted by that. Low G, I mean, his first name's Loe. Okay. Low G says, watched with the family, and we were all hoping for the sequel. 5 stars. I don't know if this is a watch with the family movie.
Yeah, I watched it with my nephew, but I mean, he's a video game kid, so what are you going to do, right?
But I also feel like this isn't like a gather round and let's all watch.
Gather round, young children. Let us watch the tournament that never starts.
Listen, well, I'll watch Paw Patrol the movie with you if you can watch Mortal Kombat right after.
Okay, as a palate cleanser. My next review comes from Asia. Just the continent, the entire continent of Asia.
Or is it the that female wrestler from WCW?
Oh, WCW China knockoff? Could be. But it's spelled ASIA, so I'm assuming it's yeah.
That's the continent.
Right. And Asia wrote that I like it more than I expected. The action scenes were good, and the movie was put together nicely. It was funny, too. 5 out of stars.
All right. The whole continent of Asia approves of Mortal Kombat.
Right.
All right, my last review here is from Sasha K. And Sasha K, okay, this is a strange. Sasha K just says, good, but not good. Fans only.
Does it have a link to her fans only page?
No, wait. Oh, yeah.
Her only fans, sorry.
Sorry, it's good, but not good. Smiley teeth face emoji, hashtag fans only. 3.5 out of stars.
All right.
I think she meant to put good, but not great. But
possibly
good but not good doesn't make sense.
No sense whatsoever. Well, my last one comes from Lewis B, and I can only assume that's comedian Lewis Black. And he writes, I loved the way the story was detailed. Also, I liked how other more characters were introduced. 5 out of stars.
Come see my new movie, Unaccompanied Minors.
So there we go. That's the critics. That's the audience. That's all them, and we can just dispose of this business and stop talking about things that we've taken in that we kind of like actually. As we move into the segment, there's the dance sensation that's sweeping the nation. What are you watching, bud?
Well, I am actually going to go ahead and recommend a documentary I saw recently, and I feel like I'm looking through this list because I have been keeping a list, or else I'm just going to start recommending things multiple times, and I guess I haven't recommended this before, so I'm going to recommend a documentary called Jodorowsky's Dune. It's this very strange filmmaker named Alexander Jodorowsky almost made an adaptation of Dune. And when you watch this documentary about the stuff he had planned and you see his storyboards and you see that he wanted to cast Salvador Dali in the lead role, it's just like, it's the craziest shit ever. It's wild how, I mean, I don't think it almost came to pass, but they did a lot of work on it. Salvador Dali wanted like $500,000 a minute to work on the movie. He's like, I will be the highest paid actor in the world. It's insane.
Okay.
It's great. Like, there's a whole part where they talk about how they're going to like trick Salvador Dali by agreeing to that, but then only putting him in the movie for 5 minutes, so they only actually have to pay him 5 minutes worth of money. He also Jodorowsky is also very excited when he finds out that David Lynch's Dune movie is a piece of shit, because he was mad when he got to make it and he didn't, because he loved David Lynch, and he was like, oh, I was so sad. And then he's like, and then I watched it and I was like, this is terrible. So I will recommend, Jodorowsky's Dune. It's a very interesting look at an insane person.
Okay.
He also wanted Mick Jagger to be in it too.
He wanted Mick. Okay, so this would have been obviously way before Free Jack.
Was it? I can't place the year. I think it would have been. I mean, yeah, I think because it would have been like late 70s, early 80s, so a few years before Free Jack.
Free Jack was like the 90s. Oh.
Yeah, that kickstarted his acting career.
Yeah, right.
What about you? What you watching, bud?
Well, I actually managed to do some get caught up because I managed to watch WandaVision and Loki. Now I'm late to the party, I know, and some of the people who are listening might have already seen it. But I mean, if you're on the fence or you just haven't made the time, they do tie in quite nicely to the MCU, and by the looks of it, Loki actually even is going to feed pretty heavily into the later stuff, and you're going to get a second season, unlike WandaVision. Yeah,
and I think did you check out Falcon and the Winter Soldier at all?
Yeah, I'd already seen that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
the Marvel TV stuff. Now I'm talking about the post-movie Marvel TV stuff has been uniformly pretty good.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for Hawkeye to finish up so I can do the same thing I did with Loki and WandaVision.
That's fair. I don't mind watching it week to week, although I do get annoyed when I realize, what, this episode's over already? No!
Yeah, exactly.
But Hawkeye's also really good. Yeah, no, WandaVision and Loki, great shows. Owen Wilson in the MCU, let's do this.
Oh, he was probably one of my favorite parts of Loki for sure.
Yeah, no, I love that. Awesome. Well, guys, yeah, check out those new shows on Disney Plus.
That's it.
You got your old.
I will. I'm gonna run over to the green room
Okay.
and grab our little simian friend. He hasn't done a whole lot, little shiftless layabout, but let's go get him. Hello, it's your good friend Montrose Monkington III here, and I feel that I can be excused for not doing a whole lot lately. It is the holidays after all, so get off my back. And once you do that, you can head on over to Montrose Monkington TV to see some of my previous exploits, or talk to me through the Facebook group Montrose Monkington III Esquire and Friends, or even directly through the Twitter devices at Montrose III at the number 3 D. Thank you. More later.
Thank you, Montrose.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and I guess we'll just plug away. You can find us all over the place. We're on all the podcast apps. Our home base is Age of Radio.
Big time.
You can head to ageofradio.org/whatwerethéthinking. We're also on patreon.com/WWTT podcast. Instagram, Twitter, again, WWTT podcast. Follow us there. We're on Facebook. Just search for us. We're everywhere, all the time, 24/7. We're just podcasting all the time, nothing else. We don't have lives. We're just sitting in front of microphones. Oh, sorry, I meant to tell you, we're now a 24-hour podcast network.
Oh, well, I guess I got to re-examine my involvement in this.
Yeah, just say your goodbyes now to everybody you love. We're now the CNN of podcasts.
Oh, God.
But that does mean that we'll get Wolf Blitzer.
That's
though.
weird because my brother's actually running for governor.
Oh, I neglected to mention, you're fired now.
Oh, okay.
You're suspended until someone's like, is that harsh enough? And then you're fired. I mean, I guess I'll ask you questions. I think you know more about the source material than I.
The MKCU, if you will.
Yeah, the MKCU. So I guess I just have a few questions about
Right.
Mortal Kombat 2021.
Okay.
In a movie in which you have so much IP to take from,
Right.
and they have all these characters. They shoehorn in all these characters that everyone who plays the video games knows and loves. They have all these like little visual gags and references.
Mm-hmm.
They have I'm sure there are like story points that they probably borrow from one or two of the games, at least in part. They have some fatalities and Kano wins. That's all from the video game, and it the look of the movie is very much like the game at points, and it's so much like the game. And you have a main character named Cole, who is nowhere to be found in nary a Mortal Kombat game.
Not a one.
Cole.
Mm-hmm.
So I just have to ask.
What's that?
What were they thinking?